Okay, we are back again here at WordCamp Orange County 2016. I am Say Reed, and I am standing here with the amazing and quite WordPress famous, and probably beyond that, actually, I would say at this point, JavaScript famous, Natalie MacLees. MacLees. I got it. Natalie Mac on all the things. She is pretty amazing and also has been a previous lead organizer of WordCamp LA and very involved in the WordPress scene in Southern California. So, Natalie, tell me a little bit about how you got involved in WordPress back in the day, originally.
I had a client who wanted a blog, and looked around, seemed like WordPress was a good fit, and built the site for her. And then I was going to visit some friends in San Francisco, and they were busy one day while I was there and said, "You'll have to entertain yourself." And there happened to be a WordCamp happening.
Oh, wow.
It was the second ever WordCamp San Francisco. So I went and realized, wow, this is actually a really awesome, amazing community.
So you actually, even that was like, what, 2007? 2007? You stumbled into into WordCamp and WordPress at the same time.
Yeah, basically.
So tell me a little bit about that second WordCamp. Your first, the second WordCamp. San Francisco. Run by Matt.
Yeah, Matt was setting out the sandwiches from Subway, like himself.
That does not happen anymore. Don't expect that if you come here.
And it was about 200 people. I met some really amazing people. We were all in one room. There was just one track. And I'm not sure, it wasn't the second ever WordCamp, but it was pretty early. There'd only been a few of them at that point. So it's pretty informal. And I was just kind of blown away by how nice people were and how welcoming and how friendly and how willing to share their knowledge.
So the open source ethos of WordPress, you could feel it and sense it even then. It was already present?
Yeah, right. Like as soon as you came in that morning, everybody was really welcoming just for showing up. I think it was $10 to come to this WordCamp, and you got a year of free hosting and a t-shirt and pins, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. It's so generous, and the people speaking were super smart, and I learned so much and just got really excited about what I had kind of stumbled into.
So what happened then? How did you obviously, you're like, oh, community, and then how did you continue that? You came back down to SoCal, and what happened?
I didn't start it. I took over the LA WordPress meetup group and ran that starting in 2009, in February of 2009. And somebody started coming to that group and saying, oh, I'm going to start doing WordCamp in LA. So I helped promote that to the community. And when he was ready to step down as an organizer, I stepped in and organized camp for 2 years and kind of kept things going and building on that really welcoming environment that we like to have, to say everybody's welcome to come in and everybody's welcome to learn, and we'll all share what we know.
So tell me a little bit about your experience as an organizer. Were you a lead organizer first, or had you already been involved in planning a WordCamp, not a meetup, which you did a ton of, but was that your first WordCamp planning experience as the lead organizer? Or?
It was. I just dove right in. Not involved in any previous camps, and just said, hey, I could do that.
And did it.
I did it. It was really hard. It was a lot more work than I thought it would be, but it all turned out great.
So do you think, what were some of the challenges that you faced? Do you think that had to do with the team or the location? LA's, kind of dispersed. It's a difficult land. So what were some of the challenges that you faced putting that on?
So the team was awesome. My team who helped organize was really awesome. LA kind of just in general was the biggest challenge, I think. Some of the WordCamps that happen in smaller towns, they get their city council on board and the city is really supportive of what they're doing. And in LA, when you say, oh, I'm throwing a conference for 400 people, they're just, why are you talking to us? Like, just not interested. So there was no real municipal support there. And, you know, the foundation likes you to have a donated venue, and trying to find that in LA was really challenging, but I think it took us 3 months just to find the venue. But we finally got it, and once we had the venue, it went a lot better after that.
Yeah, finding a venue in LA, not the easiest thing. A cheap venue that is qualified or free, even harder. So in addition to the venue, so then what was your favorite thing about organizing in general?
Just to see how excited people were to be there and to have a space. Just kind of having the honor of being the one to create that space where everybody could come together and share ideas and get to know each other and be friendly. That was probably the best thing. Lots of thank yous from everybody.
Oh, that's sweet. So you're involved, as I mentioned in the beginning, you literally wrote the book on JavaScript for designers. Yeah. I think that's actually what it's called. Is it called JavaScript? jQuery for designers. Oh, jQuery. No, JavaScript. Different. Those are different. So jQuery, you wrote jQuery for designers. Yep. Tell me a little bit about that and how that relates to some of the WordPress work that you do.
Well, jQuery comes bundled with WordPress, so it's a good thing for anyone who wants to work with WordPress to know how to use. jQuery is JavaScript, so they are, you know, jQuery is just a JavaScript library. So when you're using jQuery, you are using JavaScript. And I know people find JavaScript very intimidating, but it's not. It's really fun. And you can do lots of really cool things with it, so I think it's exciting. And my book was meant to be a very gentle introduction for people who had never written JavaScript before, to kind of learn that, hey, you can actually do some cool things and it's not that hard.
And now you're in what edition?
Second edition.
The second edition of that. And when was the first edition published?
4 years ago, I think.
So in that last 4 years, obviously, you know, last year at WordCamp US, one of the more memorable things that came out of that was Matt Mullenweg saying, "Learn JavaScript deeply," which everyone was like, "What? That's a weird phrasing." But you know, we all jumped all over that. But other than the weird phrasing of that and the learn JavaScript, did that excite you as a jQuery JavaScript person, or what are your thoughts on how JavaScript and WordPress are kind of blended together?
Well, I think the API is opening up a whole new world of possibilities, so that's really exciting, and I'm always excited when anyone says we're going to use more JavaScript. So I was really happy about the news, and I'm working with Nathan on a plugin right now.
Nathan Tyler.
Yeah, we're going to use React, so we're learning that, and it's really exciting but challenging, but we're getting through it, and we actually have a little bit of a UI working now, so very exciting.
That is exciting. What changes do you see happening in you know, JavaScript and how it relates to WordPress coming up in the future? Or do you see it just continuing to develop as it has been, or do you think it's going to radically change in the next year or so?
It's always kind of hard to guess at what the future will be, but I think we'll start to see people using WordPress in whole new ways to do all different kinds of things. And there's already been a lot of creativity around it and using WordPress to drive an app and things like that. But I think it'll get easier and better doing those things and faster. And we'll start to see more and more creativity around the ways people are using WordPress.
So what are you personally most excited about over the next year? What developments or a WordCamp or something in the community? What's on your radar that is like kind of the thing you're most excited about that's WordPress related?
I would say WordCamp LA this year, because it's the first time in 3 years I'm not the lead organizer or on the organizing team, so I get to finally go to my hometown WordCamp and just be there to have fun. And I'm very excited about that.
That sounds really relaxing for you, actually. So there is a light at the end of the WordCamp organizing tunnel, is really what you're saying. She has survived, she's still here, and is still going back. Is really, and excited to go back. So that's basically what you're looking forward to. Are you going to go to WordCamp US? Are you branching out with that, or are you just going to kind of stay a little more local?
Decided yet, maybe.
All right. Well, maybe we will see you there, but we'll definitely see you at WordCamp LAX.
Yes.
And Natalie Mac, right?